Welcome to History in Flames. As empires rise and fall, the past comes alive, in fire and ash. Subscribe and relive the stories that shape the world. They were not born in battle. They were forged. Forged in fire. Forged in ideology. Forged in a system that demanded not just loyalty, but surrender of the soul. This was the Waffen-SS, Hitler's personal army. Not soldiers of a nation, but soldiers of an idea. In the shadow of Germany's defeat after the First World War, a broken nation searched for purpose. Into that chaos stepped Adolf Hitler, and with him, the belief that Germany could rise again through force and fanaticism. At first, the SS were nothing more than bodyguards, a handful of men sworn to protect the Führer. But protection was not enough. Hitler wanted an army that belonged to him alone, an army that would not question orders, an army that would not hesitate, an army that would kill without doubt. And so, the Waffen-SS was born. Joining the Waffen-SS was not like joining the regular army. Recruits were chosen not just for strength, but for belief. Their ancestry was examined, their loyalty tested, their minds shaped before their bodies ever marched. Recruits were taught that weakness was betrayal, that compassion was corruption, that doubt was death. From the first day, they were stripped of identity. They were no longer sons, no longer brothers, no longer men. They were instruments. Training was relentless. Recruits marched for miles through freezing rain, slept only hours a night, ate barely enough to survive. They were beaten for hesitation, starved for mistakes, humiliated for doubt. Physical pain was constant, but the psychological destruction was worse. Every emotion was crushed, every fear exploited, every weakness punished. The goal was not strength. The goal was obedience. Obedience. When the war began in 1939, the Waffen-SS entered the battlefield as something new and terrifying. They were shock troops, fanatics, men who advanced when others retreated. In Poland, in France, in the Balkans. In the frozen hell of the Eastern Front, they gained a reputation for ruthless attack and for brutality without limits. Civilians were not spared. Prisoners were not safe. Waffen-SS did not just fight the enemy, they erased them. As the war spread east into the Soviet Union, the worst crimes began. Villages were burned, families executed, entire populations wiped from the map. Einsatzgruppen followed behind death squads fueled by ideology. The Waffen-SS guarded the camps, transported the doomed, enforced terror at gunpoint. The Holocaust did not happen in hiding. It happened with rifles, with orders, with uniforms. In Russia, the Waffen-SS faced something they could not conquer through ideology alone. Winter, distance, an enemy that did not break. At Kursk, at Kharkov, at Stalingrad. Entire divisions were shattered. The fanatics learned that belief does not stop bullets. And as the war turned against Germany, desperation replaced dominance. It expanded fast. Foreign volunteers joined from France, the Netherlands, the Balkans, even British and Scandinavian recruits. Some believed in the cause, some wanted power, some simply wanted to survive. By 1944, the Waffen-SS stood at nearly 1 million men. They were everywhere. Normandy, the Ardennes, Hungary, Berlin. And as Germany collapsed, they fought harder. Not for victory, but for annihilation. In the ruins of Berlin, the last Waffen-SS units prepared for final combat. Teenagers fought beside veterans. Ammunition ran out. Fuel vanished. Hope died. Yet still, they fought. Not for Germany. It's for a myth that was already ashes. When the Soviet banners rose over the Reichstag, the Waffen-SS died with the regime they had served. After the war, the world uncovered the truth. Camps, graves, documents soaked in blood. At Nuremberg, the SS was declared a criminal organization. Thousands were executed. Others vanished into prisons. Many escaped into silence. But the scar they left behind never faded. The Waffen-SS were trained to be perfect soldiers and became something else, a symbol of how discipline can be twisted, how loyalty can become murder, how an army can lose its humanity. They were brave, they were brutal, they were catastrophic, and the world paid the price for their obedience. The Waffen-SS were not monsters at birth, They were made, taken from ordinary lives, broken down, rebuilt into weapons. Their story is not just history, it is a warning about what happens when ideology replaces conscience, when obedience replaces morality, when power is worshipped above life itself. Because the Waffen-SS did not rise from evil alone. They rose from human hands. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Share your thoughts below.